One of the big things I get asked all the time about the RC-600 is how can I control the rhythm section a lot better. So in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of different things, and we need 2 extra pedals. So on my board, I've got the RC-600 at the bottom, I've got my expression pedal, and I've got the RC-4X by Stadium Music and the TC Helicon Voice Live Play Acoustic. Now the RC-4X is only plugged in for one. So in this scenario, I've got these two as an FS6 pedal. You can actually buy it as an FS7 pedal where it's those two and those two, but just think of this as a normal FS6 pedal, and we're going to use the bottom 2 here, just ignore the top 2. So with the rhythm section, I want to show you a couple of things, starting with being able to have an intro, having the rhythm section independent, meaning if you stop all the loops, the rhythm section will keep going, being able to control the tempo, have fills in between variations, and therefore also have a variation. Now I've made a couple of changes to this preset for this to work, and I'm going to step through what I've done, but first of all, let me give you a demo. Alright, so what was going on there? Let me step this down for you. First of all, we've got before loop set on the RC-600. What that means is when I press the first loop, it's going to start the rhythm, but it's not going to actually start recording until I hit it a second time. That means you get that intro, because I've set it, and you got the rhythm starting, and then when you're ready, you can hit the button. You don't have to hit it bang on time, and you can start recording. You saw it was flashing away, and then it started doing its normal recording circle. We've also got the tap tempo, which we can set, and that's all fine. Then we added a couple more loops on, and then you heard a variation there of the beat, so it went from one variation over to another. Now, apart from the RC-600's before loop setting, the rhythm section is all controlled from the FS6 pedal, as it were. So everything to do with the rhythm section is really controlled with these 2 buttons. So let me step this through for you. The first one here is this button. This is my rhythm start stop. It also has the intro built in. There it is. And I can just stop it. There we go. And then you've also got this button. This is doing 2 things. One, if I tap it once while the rhythm's going, we go from variation C to variation D. That's just the way I've got it programmed. So let's have it playing. There's our variation C. Now, depending on where you press the button, you'll get a bigger or a shorter fill, okay? There's our crash. 2, 3, 4. Press now. There's our variation D with the ride. And we go back. This is obviously our rhythm start stop, but the other thing I've done with this one is I've changed this over to also be tap tempo. Because I'm only pressing it once for rhythm variation, we can also program up to do something else as well. So if I tap it more than once within a short sequence, we can change the tempo. Now, every time I press that, of course, it's going to do rhythm variation. So you just have to hear, is there a ride or is there not? Therefore, I know if I'm on C or D. And of course, I can stop it. So that's how it's kind of programmed up. And you notice before, if I actually start the rhythm with this button, as opposed to starting it here, you've got what's called before loop. So I'm going to erase that loop. So now, as I press this button, you're going to hear that little intro, that little 4-bar, and then it'll kick in, but it's not recording, it's just playing the rhythm. See the way it's flashing there? That means it's playing and it's armed and it's waiting for you to press that button. Press it near the bar. And now we're recording. Bum, 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 bum. And now we're recording, okay? Bum, 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 bum. Now I've stopped that. It's still going. And I can stop it manually. So that's kind of the demo out of the way. The last part of this is to show you how I've built this. Now, before I show you how I've programmed this up, I've actually put my complete RC-600 course onto YouTube. In fact, I've put all my courses onto YouTube, my 600, my 500, the Shearing Looper X, and my beginner's course called How to Loop Like a Pro. It's right here on YouTube, and it's part of my memberships. So if you actually go over to memberships, if you go to the subscribe, there's a subscribe plus. If you go and click on that, you can now get access to all my courses for less than the price of my cheapest course. So to get access to the RC-600 course, the tier you want is the Loop Academy, which gives you access to all my courses, but not just that, we're going to be doing monthly Q&As as well. This RC-600 course retails at $197, but for $49.99 a month, you get access to everything, all my courses, and it's right here on YouTube, all separated out into different playlists for different courses. Plus, I'll be doing posts just for the members, as well as live Q&As, behind the scenes, and so much more. Have a look at the membership options to get yourself up and running with the RC-600 as fast as possible. Now, let's start with before loop. We're going to go into the rhythm section. We're going to hold our finger down on there because that means you can go straight into the rhythm menu. The genre for me is pop. You can pick whatever you want, and the pattern you can pick whatever you want. I've got this down as variation C on the studio kit, and then this is where we need to click the right arrow, and then you've got the beat, and then the start and stop trigger. So the start trigger is before loop, and that's where when you press it, it plays the beat, but it's not recording. And then the stop trigger is actually normally set to loop stops. When you stop the loop, it stops the rhythm section. You don't want that. You want it to be off. The before loop, I think, is really useful, and it's one of those things where it'll help you. Certainly if you want the beat to come in first, you want a bit of an intro. It means you don't have to panic about pressing the button at the right time, and that actually can help with your timing. Then if we go across one, you can see we've got intro play. We've also got ending and fill there as well. And the variation change is set to measure, but you can also do it to loop end as well. So I've got it as measure, so the nearest measure, and you get different kinds of fills depending on when you press the button within that measure. I think that just gives it a little bit more variation. It's quite nice. So that's actually everything to do with the rhythm section. We've set it the way we want it. So now we've got it as before loop, and it's on, of course, so you can see it's flashing there. The next bit is actually programming these two buttons up. So the first thing we need to do is go into menu and then go across one. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to control funk. So if you go to control funk, this is where you can change all the pedals, and I've done an entire video all about that. But if you go to control/expression, and we're going to play with control 1 and control 2. So control 1 is this one, control 2 is this one. So control 1, very simply, I've changed it over to rhythm start stop. If I press this once, it starts the rhythm. Press it again, it stops the rhythm. It's as simple as that. If we go exit and we go over to control 2 is tap tempo. So therefore, if we press it more than once within a short succession, it figures out what the tempo is. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, for example, it will then figure that out. So then how did I get the variation? Well, the variation is actually done through an assign. So in order to get to assigns, we go to menu, we go across one again, and instead of control funk, this time we go to assign. I actually have two assigns. My expression pedal is an assign because it's actually controlling all the loops, but that's on assign number 1 for me. But ignore that, we've got assign number 2. Make sure it's switched on. And the source is where is the control coming from. Therefore, what pedal you're pressing or what you're doing. So this is control 2. It's a toggle, not a momentary. So we're not holding it down. We're pressing it once and that's it. And then the act low and act high is 0 and 127. If we go across one, we're then going to tell the target, aka what you want to change, is rhythm variation. And for me, I wanted to dive between C and D. So therefore, if I just press this once, it won't trigger the tap tempo, but it will trigger a variation switch. Make sure the assign is switched on. You can do that by just turning the dial here. Make sure that's switched on. A lot of people set up their assigns and go, why isn't it working? And it's because the assign is actually off. You just need to turn it on. And now because of that, and also because I've told the rhythm section to play an intro, if I actually hit this, it'll play anyway. However, if I hit this one, it'll play it, but it's not going to record yet. As we said before, it's waiting for me to press again, and then I can press it just before, little bit of ABBA for you. Now I've told this to stop, and you can hear the rhythm section is still going, so I can actually stop it here. If you press it just a millisecond after bar 1, beat 1, you'll get that psh, and it rides out as well. It doesn't cut off, which I think is a good ending. So that's how I've got complete control over the rhythm section on the RC-600. Go and have a look at the members section where you can get access to my full RC-600 course. We go so in depth with this thing, right from the very beginning to some really advanced setups, including click tracks, multiple layering, and so much more. And if you want to see how you can program all of these buttons up to do whatever you want, that's this video right here. Go watch it.